Hi, students. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there with you today. I'm really excited about what we're doing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Um, and I just want to remind you that today's going to be a great day. So let's make it a great day. It's all up to you. First of all, we're welcoming a guest teacher, Mrs. Altoff, today, and she's going to pass back the notes that you wrote yourself, and I wrote a little pep talk on there as well, just to remind you that you're awesome and you can make today awesome, and it's a reflection on your character, how you treat guests in the classroom. So show the wonderful people that you are to Mrs. Altoff while she's here. So what we're doing today is it involves the Hindenburg disaster. And you may not have heard of the Hindenburg disaster. You're going to see a lot of images of it, but this is a Zeppelin. The Hindenburg was a Zeppelin, and it flew from Germany to the United States, and on May 6, 1937, it crashed. You can see some of the images of the crash here. You can also see down here how big it was. This right here, this little tiny blue thing is a Goodyear blimp. So the Hindenburg is this big, and they're going to talk about how big it is, but I want to give you an idea of how huge it really was. When the Hindenburg crashed, it only took 34 seconds for it to burst into flames and then be on the ground. It was one of the greatest disasters of its time. You also may notice that this was a German Zeppelin, so right on the corner here it has the swastika. In 1937, Hitler was in power in Germany, and it was kind of a really difficult time for a lot of countries, and the United States had put an embargo on helium so that other countries couldn't get helium. So they had to make this blimp float, and we all know that helium floats, so they didn't know what to put in the blimp. So they decided to put hydrogen gas inside the blimp. And you guys know that hydrogen gas is really light. You've also seen what hydrogen gas does when we light it on fire. You're going to hear them talking about hydrogen gas, and remember your experiences with hydrogen gas in the classroom. Then over here, this is an image of thermite. You can see these little white sparkles along the edge. Thermite is used in sparklers. And if you've ever burned yourself with a sparkler, you know that thermite is hot, hot, hot. And they're going to tell you in the video you're watching today that it burns at 4,500 degrees Celsius. So it burns really hot. They're also going to talk a lot about oxygen gas today when you watch this video. So there's one other word that's going to come up that I want to clarify in the video that you're watching, because I don't want there to be any confusion. I'm going to talk a little bit about the video, and then I'm going to clarify that word and explain what you're doing today. So today, your job is to do what scientists do, and scientists argue based on evidence. And you're going to watch a Mythbusters episode about the Hindenburg disaster. And they're going to introduce you to the story of the Hindenburg and some ideas as to why the Hindenburg might have crashed. They're also going to show some experiments they did to test what happened to the Hindenburg. Your job is to watch this video and collect as much evidence you can about what might have happened to the Hindenburg so that you can argue for why you think the Hindenburg crashed. Now, they're going to present two ideas. One has to do with what was on the inside of the Hindenburg, and one has to do with what was on the outside of the Hindenburg. You'll get to pick to be on any side of the argument that you like. Obviously, inside the Hindenburg, they put hydrogen gas, also mixed with oxygen gas. And then on the outside of the Hindenburg, they painted it with thermite. And you saw from this image that thermite is highly flammable. Now, when they painted it with thermite, they're going to talk about how they painted it with dope. Dope is a term that refers to mixing things together. So what they actually did was they took some kind of sticky liquid, and you'll see them do this in the video, and they put thermite shavings in it, and they mixed it together to make a metallic paint to paint on the outside of the Hindenburg so that it would repel water but also be very light because it had cotton on the outside. So when you hear them say the word dope, they're talking about the mixture of thermite powder and paint that they used to paint on the outside of the Hindenburg. Now, as you're watching the video, Mrs. Althoff is going to support you in pausing it at certain points to record some evidence, but you should keep a sheet at your table and record as much evidence as you can. However, don't worry if you miss anything. That's mainly just so you can remember. We'll work together to come up with a really good list of evidence for what might have happened to the Hindenburg. So enjoy your watching, but remember, while you're watching, you need to be thinking and doing what scientists do, which is collect evidence so that you can make a really strong argument about what happened in this situation. All right, have a wonderful day. I miss you guys. I'll be back on Monday.